Welcome. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. I want to get through this quick because this show was not good and it bored me. I'm not even going to touch on everything about Raw. I'm not even going to hold you up. I'm going to try to bunch as much of that might be interesting together as possible. Jey Uso wins the Intercontinental Championship, defeating Braun Breaker in the middle of the damn ring. Triple H, I know a lot of people are very happy about this. Jey Uso, super over. Very likable guy, worked very hard, deserves the opportunity to try to shine as a singles champion. But why did he beat Braun Breaker? Triple H is booking Braun Breaker into the dirt. I have a huge problem with this. Huge problem. For starters, he had no business even losing to Sami Zayn. Now he defends the title, twice? And then he loses it to Jey Uso. Oh, okay. So, you paid off the Jey Uso story. That's a positive. Now Jey Uso has won a championship. He's proven that he can do it on his own. So do you just now give the belt back to Braun in a couple of weeks? That didn't do him any good. I just don't see how this facilitates the growth of Braun Breaker. It fulfills Jey Uso, obviously, but I don't see how this facilitates the growth of Braun Breaker. I don't see how Triple H has facilitated really the push of any of the major young talent on WWE. He seemingly throws them a bone and then beats them into the dirt. Or he forgets that they even exist. Like he does with Tiffany Stratton. Now she's Money in the Bank winner. She's been pinned in the middle of the ring. And then it's like, oh, she's a lackey for Nia Jax. It's like he's using the young talent to get over the older talent, which is backwards. And look, everybody appreciates Naomi and all the work that she's done. And we appreciate Bayley and all the work that she does. Nia Jax, not so much. Not so much on the appreciation. But it's like these girls need to be pushed out of the way so that Tiffany Stratton can actually grow and start doing things. Jey Uso, everybody appreciates him. Everybody loves the Yeet stuff and the bloodline story and everything. And this was something that needed to happen. But instead of having Jey Uso beat Gunther or somebody like that, they had him beat Braun Breaker. This smacks of exactly what they did with Austin Theory, where it was, he's not ready yet. We're going to go with the hot hand. He's just not ready yet. He'll have his day in court. Like, come on, man. This was a home game for Jey Uso. That's a positive too. They were in California. Jey Uso was from California, so this was a huge fan favorite win. I just don't like it. I didn't like it. Braun Breaker is supposed to be booked stronger than this, but this just goes to show that Vince and what he thought about Braun Breaker versus what Triple H thinks about him. Triple H booking him like he's some random guy, and he's booking him like he's Ludwig Kaiser. So he might as well be the Intercontinental Champion at this point. I mean, Sami Zayn is booked stronger than Braun Breaker is. And that's typical of Triple H's WWE. Is the NXT talent get almost no chance to shine and do cool stuff or be involved in cool things because he's too busy pushing all the old talent. And look, I like Jey Uso, and I'm not blaming him. He was over. He's in the spot, but he was over 4 months ago. He was over 5 months ago. All that time, he probably should have won it then. Why did they do that now? And to me, that just smacks of Triple H didn't know what to do with Braun Breaker. He had no real ideas for him. Again, he just sat around while a tournament went on, and he disappeared for 2 weeks, and then he showed up and the tournament was over, and now I got to wrestle Jey Uso. It's dumb. Who cares? Anyway, Jey Uso's the Intercontinental Champion. Good for Jey. Dominic Mysterio will be suspended in a shark cage at the match at Bad Blood. The opening segment did nothing for me because nothing important was said, really, outside of Dominic will be in a shark cage. This led to Dominic tripping out and saying that he can't be locked up again, which I thought was funny. But Adam Pearce said it is official. This is not the modification to the match that I wanted. I wanted something to make the match more interesting. Instead, they just took Dominic out of the match, which means essentially the other members of Judgment Day are going to have to get involved. That being JD and Carlito. So you really, you're booking this as if we're not smart people. Okay, you took one piece off the board. You got three more. You know, Finn Balor can run out there. JD can run out there. Carlito can run out there. Okay. Liv was bad on the promo too. She wasn't very good. And neither was Rhea Ripley. Not that good anyway. Sami Zayn defeated Ludwig Kaiser. Gunther came out there. He was wearing his wrestling gear for some odd reason to trick Sami Zayn into thinking he was going to give him a championship match tonight. And then decided, no, he was not going to give him a championship match tonight. And it's weird that Adam Pearce is just letting this go on, that Gunther can just tell this man no repeatedly again and again. And Adam Pearce is not stepping up to the plate and making a decision. He's just letting it go. Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, they patched up their issue. Kofi tried to get back in the nostalgia bag with the bootios and the trombone, and Xavier Woods is like, that stuff's fun when we're winning. We're not winning right now. We need to be locked in, which makes sense. Kofi Kingston's like, look, I've been kind of pushy lately. You know, I'm going to let you run the plays. You're the quarterback. You do your thing. So then Xavier Woods picks a fight with American Made. Then the one funny thing out of this whole situation is a guy shows up with a gigantic plate of pancakes, but it's behind Xavier Woods' back. And Kofi's like doing the neck, you know, the neck cut. Like, no. Like, shh, like, get out of here. Because Xavier Woods is not with the pancakes right now. You know, he's not with it. This led to an extremely long match without American Made that made me tired. American Made won. Xavier Woods got very upset. He then went off on Rey Mysterio by saying that he does not accept the LWO's apology for their interference last week. Then he got mad that everybody else is a world champion except him, and people thinking that he don't matter because he's not a world champion. And Rey tried to talk some sense into him, but that's typical Rey Mysterio, is he's being rational while other people are being irrational. And so he decides he's going to fight Xavier Woods. He was supposed to fight Finn Balor, but he says, nah, I'll fight Xavier Woods. And Xavier Woods was like, yeah, I'll take that. So Xavier Woods versus Rey Mysterio next week. Interesting. I don't think they've ever wrestled each other, so that's actually interesting. Drew McIntyre had an idea. He was going to come out and cut a promo, and it was essentially the same promo CM Punk cut the previous week about how Hell in a Cell did terrible things to him, and these matches often go too far. His wife begged him not to participate in there and to give CM Punk up, to leave him alone. Let's let him go. But he can't. He says that Punk is an old man who he broke in the past so easily. He's going to break him again. He's going to break him permanently at Hell in a Cell. All right. Didn't really do much for me in terms of the promo. It was structured almost the exact same as CM Punk's promo, which didn't help because Drew McIntyre is a different person, so he should have had a different perspective. But whatever. Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed, because there's so many Brauns running around here. They crashed through a merch table to start the show, and then they continued to fight as Bronson Reed was supposed to wrestle The Miz, except for Braun Strowman came out of nowhere and started scrapping with him. Over time, they fought all the way to the back, and they beat up a bunch of security guards and crashed through a bunch of things. Adam Pearce decided they're going to have a last man standing match next week on Raw. Or last monster standing. All right, if you say so. I guess that's not a bad idea, I suppose. I can't complain about that. It's what I expected. I don't know why Karrion Kross is hanging out with The Miz. What is Karrion Kross's gimmick? Does anybody care? No. Io Sky and Kairi Sane defeated Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. Io's English is getting better. She told Bianca she wants to tag team titles while Bianca was talking about, Io catching her slipping last week. It came across a little bit like Bianca and Jade had an attitude. Just a little bit. Not like they were heels, but they kind of had an attitude. Dragon Lee defeated Carlito. Finally, Dragon Lee wins a match, and it doesn't matter because he beats Carlito. The Pure Lesbian Collective, the Lesbian Avengers, they cut a promo. They had a video package where they talked about all the other factions being created for survival while they fight for dominance and opportunities. They're the future and the foundation of the Raw women's division. I was like, the one who was talking, the future and the foundation, I don't get that. Zoe Stark, she's not the future. She might be the mulch of the women's division of WWE. She's not the foundation, though. She might be like the potting soil. These girls are terrible. They're very bad. They're very, very bad. Oh, Lord. Damian Priest cut a promo. Asked us if he was his brother's keeper. Talked about his crew becoming his fam. His crew being, of course, the Judgment Day. His crew became his fam. And his fam gave him a brother to keep. But Finn Balor was always jealous of Rhea, jealous of him, that they became world champions and he never did. And that leads him to being deceivious and deceptive. Okay. This was okay. It still feels like Damian Priest is reading his promos and not feeling them out. I think the Spanish stuff is legitimate. That's probably just him ad-libbing. But he doesn't come across as being kind of realistic in his promos yet. That's very unfortunate because I think there was a lot of strong material here that he could have worked with. But I guess I did end up touching on pretty much everything that happened on Raw. The show dragged, made me sleepy. Oh, yeah, I forgot. They did the rune signal on here, but it was probably for Ivar, and who gives a fuck about that fat fool? So, the main event was great. I would say it was a great match. I greatly disagree with the finish. I could see why you would be happy with Jey Uso winning, and I don't begrudge you for being happy about Jey Uso winning. It's just that it wasn't for me. I'm not looking at Jey Uso as a guy who's the future right now. To me, Braun Breaker losing competitive matches to rando mid-carders is not the best way to push him, in my opinion. Again, I said Dominic Mysterio earlier, just put in a shark cage. It's going to be a funny visual because it's obviously not going to be dangling outside the ring because they're going to have the Hell in a Cell up there. So it might just be like a shark cage on the floor where he can get like kicked and maybe they'll pick the lock and he'll get out or something like that. Or maybe he'll be skinny enough to slide it through the bars. That'd be funny. But it's a pretty much a setup for Liv Morgan to win as it gives Rhea Ripley a false sense of security. The last Monster in the Bank situation with last Monster standing. Bronson Reed, Strowman. I like this. These guys have been doing some really good stuff, tearing each other up and tearing up the buildings. I like this. It's going to be fun. The rest of the card, though, even Gunther, Gunther is in a thing with Sami Zayn, and nobody else. It's like nobody else wants to be world champion right now. And nobody else is even in the conversation because Adam Pearce is not enforcing anything. He's not giving him a match that he has to win. And, in order to get a title shot or something like that. Sami Zayn's not appealing to Adam Pearce and saying, hey, I should get a championship match, yada, yada, yada. No, it's just literally, he asked Gunther. Gunther said no. He asked him again. He said no. He sought out to prove himself by beating Ludwig Kaiser. He still said no. It was like, okay. Now what? Anyway, Raw is very long. It tired me out. The Jey Uso Braun Breaker thing blew my mind. We'll see how long it lasts. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. No one does it better.